You know, I used to work as an installer for a company that specialized in setting up home theaters, outdoor speakers, and all that high-end audiovisual gear. It was a job I genuinely loved because I took pride in turning ordinary spaces into immersive entertainment zones. But some jobs, no matter how well you plan, test your patience like nothing else. I remember one particular client, let's just call him the troublemaker, who made the whole experience a nightmare from start to finish. His house was massive, with stone and concrete walls that made running cables a nightmare. When my boss and I gave him a detailed quote, pointing out that the difficult walls and long distances would require extra work, and hence extra cost, he wasn't pleased. He wanted it cheap, quick, and perfect all at once. We tried to explain that shortcuts would compromise quality, but he kept pushing back, demanding a lower price. We left it at that, figuring we'd do our best within the constraints. But then came the call that changed everything. 2 days before his big party, he called us frantic. "I need music and sound in the house. Now," he yelled. It was Wednesday, and the party was Saturday. We told him additional labor and materials would be needed to meet his tight deadline, and he agreed, paying us half up front, around $5,000, considering the complexity. Thursday morning, we started the install, and right from the first hour, it was chaos. The client kept arguing about every speaker placement, every wire. He challenged every decision, insisting he knew better, even though he had no experience. 6 hours in, we had only finished 2 rooms out of 6, and still needed to do the patio and outdoor areas. We explained we couldn't finish in time without rushing or cutting corners, but he called us incompetent, said we didn't know what we were doing, that we were unprofessional, that we'd never run a successful business. Things got uglier. The next day, he reduced his scope, dropping from 6 rooms to 4, and agreed to include the patio area. That was an improvement, but he still argued over wire runs, speaker positions, every little detail. Drilling into stone was tough, but we pushed through, and by the end of Friday, most of the setup was complete. We tested the system thoroughly, and it worked perfectly. We felt good, tired but accomplished, and went out for a well-earned beer. But then Saturday morning, everything fell apart. The client called, furious, claiming we'd done a terrible job and that the system was broken. He refused to pay the remaining balance, accusing us of incompetence and threatening to sue. I was furious, my blood boiling. I called my boss, Steve, who authorized me to handle things as I saw fit. I took a deep breath, went back to the house, and tested the system once more. It worked flawlessly. The client watched suspiciously as I flipped switches and adjusted controls. I could see the doubt in his eyes. Then he casually said, "I'm not paying you. This is how you get things for free, by complaining and messing everything up." That was the final straw. I calmly walked over to my tools, disconnected every wire, and left the house. I shut off my work phone and walked away, furious but knowing I'd done my job honestly. The next Monday, my boss told me he'd spoken to the client. Turns out, the client had called back, furious that the system was broken and that his party was ruined. Steve told him he'd fix it, but only if he paid the remaining 50% of the bill plus a fee for troubleshooting. The client paid, plus an extra $5,000 to fix the supposed damage, even though everything had been tested before I left. As for me, I learned a valuable lesson that week. Sometimes, even when you do everything right, people will try to cheat you out of your work. But standing your ground, sticking to your integrity, and not letting the nonsense get to you, that's what truly matters. Because in the end, honesty and quality will always prevail, even if it costs a little extra patience along the way.